Welcome to New Life Live, the premier place to receive free advice from Christian psychologists and counselors for the mental, emotional, relational, and spiritual challenges you face. Since 1988, we've offered compassionate responses that combine God's truth with proven psychological principles to guide you toward healing. Our phone lines are open. Call us now at 1-800-229-3000.
So glad you've joined us today on New Life Live. I'm your host, Brian Perez, and we're going to be in the studio for 2 hours today. And we'd love to hear from you, especially if you called us yesterday and weren't able to get on the program. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call. We can talk about a number of topics, jealousy maybe, or grief, or maybe you're wondering if you're handling the grief process in the right way, or you're not grieving enough, grieving too much. Addiction, either your addiction or a family member's addiction. We can talk about it all for the next 2 hours here at New Life Live. And joining us today to answer your questions, we've got clinical psychologist Dr. Jill Hubbard. How are you, Jill?
Hi, Brian. Doing great.
Great to have you here. And licensed marriage and family therapist Chris Williams joins us as well. How are you, Chris?
It's great to be here.
It's been a while.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. So it's really good to be back in studio to hang out with you guys and to talk to our callers.
Yeah,
I can't wait. Please call in today.
Yep. 1-800-229-3000. What's on your mind to start us off?
What's on my mind is this thing. I've shared it here on the show previously, but I say it like this. I always like to tell myself, and as kind of the intro.
And we love hearing it, Chris.
Okay. So before I got into recovery and addressing my own addictive issues, I was a general sinner that had general sin. And therefore, I had general confession, and I got general healing and general salvation from a general God. However, when I got into recovery, I encountered this thing called the fourth step, which said I made a fearless and searching moral inventory. And we all know that have been through this process, that's usually where we get stopped in our tracks. Mm-hmm. And people get hung up on that fourth step quite a bit. I was no different than that. Because the process is that then I discovered I was a very specific sinner that had specific consequences. I needed a specific redemption and salvation from a specific God.
No more being vague.
No more being vague. No more being vague. I had to dig into it. And I started to discover there are these certain principles in the scripture that came to life in whole new ways. The thing I was most terrified to do, and as I told my sponsor, I said this, I would rather go to the grave than tell another person the exact natures of my wrongs, as the fifth step says. And he says, interestingly enough, if you don't, it will lead you to the grave. And he was so right. And so James, and we see that confess your sins one to another and you will be healed. Oh my goodness, the healing that I experienced in that. And then fast forward to 1 John 1. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins as he purifies us from all unrighteousness. And boy, did I need and continue to need forgiveness. And I also need a purification. I need a way to leave the sin behind. And then the other thing, also in 1 John, if I fast forward to 1 John chapter 4, it says this, perfect love drives out fear. And what happened is when I confessed my sins and got specific, got in the details, got in the dirty and grimy, and experienced acceptance from my recovery fellows, recovery friends on the other end, I experienced a love where the fear and the shame just started melting away and I could live free. Friends, recovery is for everybody. I want everyone to have that experience. Yeah. That's one step, but it's a powerful one. And we have the Life Recovery Conference coming up October 4th. I'm going to push that really hard. Choosing Wisdom is the conference. So, if you're struggling with something today, you need to call in. You need to confess something. Confession could just be a struggle that you're having with another person. Give us a call.
Yep. 1-800-229-3000 is the number to call, and we're going to begin our time on the phones with Janet in just a moment, so hang on.
We've been married 33 years. We attended the Intimacy and Marriage Workshop. Even though we've read books or attended a few other marriage weekends, this was certainly different and a lot more intensive than initially that we thought.
When you come to intimacy in marriage, you're going to be immersed into a 3-day process.
Was not really sure exactly what to expect, but the idea of learning to really understand intimacy was intriguing. We had been in the same patterns of struggle over and over again.
If you've thought, I don't think we can ever change, we're just in this rut and we can't get out, the Intimacy in Marriage Workshop can help you get out of the rut.
The Intimacy in Marriage Weekend is July 25th to the 27th in Washington, D.C. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50. 1-800-639-5433.
I would highly recommend it.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
Hey, if you listen to New Life Live on WAVA 105.1 in Washington, D.C., tune in to The Drive Home with Dr. Greg Seltz, whose special guest at 5:15 today will be our very own J.J. West. That's tonight at 5:15 on WAVA. To the phones we go. Here is Janet, who's listening to us on the New Life app in Seattle, Washington. Thank you, Janet, for downloading the app and for calling in today.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, how can we help you?
Well, I'm a long-time listener from years ago, and I actually wasn't able to get you for a while. And I've got this problem, and I've been talking to God a lot about it and listening to different pastors, and all of a sudden my notification came on my phone. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to answer this. And I ended up getting through, so I think it was a God thing. I was supposed to.
Yeah, let me take a quick survey. Do you guys think it was a God thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we all agree with you, Janet.
Okay, so my question is, my boyfriend has stage 4 prostate and bone cancer. He's outlived his 2 years that they said he would probably live, and he's in this 6 months of he's not in remission anymore, but has a problem, and he's become a believer, which is a good thing because that happened a year ago, last May. But the struggle is the side effects from these drugs. They make him irritable and jealous, and we do a lot of arguing, and it's just a really tough existence. It's like the quality of life is not there anymore, and I'm struggling because I'm brought down, with this being the caregiver girlfriend. I just get in a place where the regular counseling through the cancer institution is not the same as, maybe what you can shed some light on the subject for me.
Janet, how long have you guys been together?
6 years.
Okay. And just a curiosity here. And you've been in a dating relationship but haven't crossed over into marriage, correct?
Okay, so I'll give you a little bit more history. His previous wife died of cancer, and his first wife died of cancer that he had 2 children with. And so we were both grieving the loss of his last wife because she was also my friend. Mm-hmm. And so I was caregiving both of my parents at the time that all this took place. And so we were kind of grieving together. So no, I lived at the house that I inherited, and then he was living in his condo, and by the time he found out he had cancer 2 years ago, we were dating, but it's not like a regular, he did not want to get married again, and we weren't planning on being boyfriend and girlfriend. We were I cut his hair and was friends with him. So,
well, then, so my follow-up question to that is, what obligation do you feel to him? What responsibility do you feel to him at this time?
well, I did move in with him to take better care of him. When it was really bad, I needed to be around in the evening too. So, I guess I'm the type of person that doesn't give up. So I think my obligation is not just that I love him, but I feel like I could change the situation now, I suppose, which is probably what you would suggest.
Well,
make it more
part of
caregiving.
part of this is something inside of you, and I'll notice that you have a big caregiver inside of you, looking for someone to take care of. And so he fulfills that function. He fulfills that role in your life really well. The circumstance does, for sure. You know, whether it be going from grief to cancer, there was always something there to take care of. But oftentimes when you have a caregiver and care receiver as the primary stance in a relationship or position in a relationship, you have a power imbalance, and usually a giver and a taker. And that just is like you said, someone's going to end up really dissatisfied there. Someone's going to end up discontent and not okay with it. And I'm just thinking, as you're talking about, it's a dating relationship and the kind of nuance of your arrangement, I'm like, I think first for yourself, Janet, you need to redefine the relationship for yourself.
Okay.
Like,
because it does sound like it evolved, right?
Yes,
Friendship, and you were friends with his wife who died, and so you guys went through that huge loss and sadness together, and that is very bonding. And now he's in the same situation.
Yeah.
So you're right, Chris. Janet, you've done a lot of caregiving, and so now since he is doing a little better, you're saying. I think that is no. Okay.
He's actually not. He's at the point where they're experimenting with different things to try to prolong. And it started out, what are you most interested in? The question for him was, do you want quality or quantity? And he wanted quality. So they said, we can put you on something that will help you to have better quality, to take the pain away, to stop the cancer from, getting worse. And so when that stopped working...
Well, so Janet, you're also going to lose him.
Yeah.
Right? And
right.
He's aware of that too. And I think when people are aware of, a loss that is going, is kind of impending, sometimes there is more arguments, right? Because there's going to be a separation and not knowing how to quite deal with that emotion. And so sometimes people create conflict almost to kind of push a person away, not always consciously. And so I wonder if you are talking about that with him instead of looking at, oh gosh, we're in a relationship and we're fighting. No, okay, what's underneath it? This is a relationship of caring about another person in the last stages of their life that you seem to be willing to do. And so there isn't going to be the same things coming back at you that would be in a relationship with a healthy person.
And that shifts the expectations, when it's connected to reality.
Yeah.
That reality can be really sad and really painful. We don't expect it to be something that it's not. Because when we expect it to be something that's not, that's when the frustration kicks in. That's when the anger and the reactivity kicks in.
Well, and not even knowingly. Janet, you're wanting to grow a relationship. He's trying to figure out how to wind down his life.
Yeah.
And what that looks like. And so I think that kind of needs to be out on the table, and you guys need to be talking about that and grieving together.
Well, we do. It's not all. The tough part is he has days where he feels really good, and then he goes, and then the next day he'll have all these plans, and then he doesn't feel good. So it's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
So we do have some good mixed in with the difficult, and that's even why it gets really hard, because he'll explain things, how he's feeling, which that's what I love, is to be able to have that communication. And I try to tone down the questions, because I'm a type of person that asks a lot of questions so that I know what's going on. And so I'll understand from a day where this is all brought up and he explained things and I'm in the light, and then it could be the next day he goes back into this darkness. And so you're
so you may just have to name
advice.
that today seems like a darker day for you. Right? What do you need from me today?
What resource can we send her from the newlife.com store? Anything come to mind?
The Life Recovery on Grief. Yeah, Life Recovery
perfect.
Workbook for Grief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stay on the phone, Janet. We will gladly send that out to you there in Seattle, Washington. 1-800-229-3000 is the number for you to call us today. We've got B standing by, but first we're going to talk to Grace, who is in Austin, Texas, listening on Sirius XM, channel 131. Hello, Grace. How can we help you?
Hi. I want reconciliation in my family. It's a difficult thing because there's so much, so many secrets and embedded lies, and I've been trying to weave through it, but it's gotten more difficult with the people involved because it involves my daughters and my mom. When I was young, I had gotten my first job, and I went to my job, and I was raped. And I did not know. I didn't become aware until years later because I was drugged, and that kind of like I had no memory of it. My doctor that was taking care of me at the time was my family doctor, and he had known me since a little girl. So he didn't tell me that I was. He could tell that I was traumatized. It wasn't. So when I gave birth, I had no idea how I even got pregnant, how was it even possible. And then being young, I was 16 when it happened. Then 30 days after that happened, a family friend repeated the act, and I had another birth.
Oh, my.
In the process, my mom took the girls from me because she had became aware that I was looking for adoption. I wasn't looking for adoption because I did not care for my children. It was that I was aware that my family was so dysfunctional that my children would probably go through the same thing. And I was trying to prevent that, which led my family to taking my girls from me and over the years hiding them in different places until finally one day at 12, I was able to get them back. I took my mom to court and I got them all back. But the damage was already done and the hatred was already in their hearts. Well, now fast forwarding to today, my mom had a stroke a few months back that she can't live on her own anymore. And she's living with me, the last place she wanted to be at, because of everything that had happened in my life that she could not face or ever wanted to face. The process has been really good because I am aware that it is scary for her to live with someone that you hurt and could never face. But I've taken my time with her. But there are moments that it does get not fun. And that's why I'm calling you, because I never call anyone.
Well, we appreciate you putting we appreciate you putting your trust in us and calling in with this situation. Jill, what would you say to Grace?
What was the last thing you just said, Grace?
Is that well, my mom lives with me.
No,
daughters.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. I just thought you had a last comment. So
the last comment was, I don't want for Satan to win and keep the division in the family.
Yeah.
I want healing.
What? Right.
But at the same time, I feel a lot of pain.
Of course. And now your mom is in a more helpless place and dependent on you. And I don't know if the stroke is something that is, something that would shorten her life. And that's, something to consider, that we want healing before we have to say goodbye to someone. I want you to think about, to let us know, have you done anything to get your girls help and yourself throughout this journey? You got yourself legal help, and that was great. But what have you done to deal with this emotionally?
We'll come back to you in just a little bit, Grace. Thanks for calling in today to New Life Live. I'm Brian Perez here with Dr. Jill Hubbard and Chris Williams, taking your calls for 2 hours total, and we would love to talk to you. If there's something going on in your life and your family's life that you need some encouragement with or just some guidance, we can be your next step. And that is to call into us, at 1-800-229-3000. We'll be right back.
I went to Everymans battle in 2012. My sexual integrity was not what it should have been. I sought out affairs, whether physical or emotional. Until I came to Everymans battle, I didn't understand that would never fill that void.
Every day, men struggle with sexual integrity. Impure thoughts, strip clubs, affairs, pornography.
The shame and guilt was overwhelming.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Everyman's Battle Intensive.
You will discover what the true root of your pain is, and you will discover how to overcome.
You don't have to struggle any longer. Get help in Dallas, Texas, July 18th through the 20th. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Use the discount code NLL to save $50.
Everyman's battle saved my life.
Club New Life changes lives.
You guys came along into my life in 2022. That was a really, really difficult year of my life.
You can help New Life Ministries provide Christ-centered hope and counseling resources to thousands of people by joining Club New Life today.
I began to really process a lot of things that I've needed to for a long time, and y'all were a very big part of that.
When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, you'll make a difference in the lives of individuals and families with godly counsel and connection to help.
I came out of it having never experienced anything like that, and y'all were there.
Join today and help continue the message of hope to a troubled world.
I knew I had to keep going, and I joined Club New Life, and y'all have been the resource that has now been a light for my wife and I.
Go to newlife.com/CNL, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places.
Keep doing what you do, because it makes a difference.
newlife.com/CNL. We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
And let's go back to Grace. Jill, you had a question for Grace just before the break.
Well, yes. So, Grace, has there been any attempts at getting help?
Yes, and see, that's just it. There has, even though all of this was going on, I never allowed any of the I don't know what to call them, I'm just to call them incidents of violence. That one of my daughters has a really bad behavior, and she has hurt me many times. But I would understand it because I knew that it didn't come from, if you don't teach them love or give them space, I know all these things can happen. So I would just hold her in my arms until the tantrum would end. But now we're all adults. And my flesh still fears her, that she could still strike me. She's angry at me again, and my mom is living with me, and they want to come see her, and I'm trying to set up boundaries, but at the same time, not boundaries that would cause division, but boundaries that could be healthy. But I don't know how to deal with it, because there's still hurt and pain, because I don't. Yeah, I've no longer accepted anyone's lies or secrets. I've stepped out from underneath them. They're not mine to carry anymore. I've learned that it's not God's will on me to carry other people's shame or guilt on me. But it's still.
But it's still hard.
I don't know how.
Yeah.
And Grace, when you're talking about reconciling the family, are you talking about reconciling your relationship to your mom or your relationship to your daughters?
With my daughters.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's helpful.
Yeah,
because we're talking at the break, and reconciliation takes two people. Now, I say this, 1 John tells us that Jesus has forgiven the sins of the whole world, but for some it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Because they're unwilling to enter into that acceptance and relationship. And so the first point of all of this is truth. And that's got to be what's really complicated for your daughters, because I can only imagine that when there are secrets, there are tons of deceptions. Yeah. And when the deception has been adopted as truth, unraveling that for a person is not just unraveling information, it could be unraveling their life.
Right, that was their reality, those lies.
And they go into a deep, process, a deep period of time of disorientation and real distress. And that's why, we're saying, hey, this is going to take the long game. There's not one short answer on here, but it's showing up trustworthy, it's showing up active, and that also includes boundaries. And there's always going to be a risk here because, like I said, reconciliation takes two people. If one is unwilling to reconcile, it will not work.
So you said the one daughter you are a bit afraid of. So maybe a boundary that you have is that it works for you to meet in a public place.
Yeah.
Versus alone in your home where maybe the grandmother is, and that might stir up feelings. So you said they're both adults now. They're no longer girls in your home. So can you, and then you get to decide how much time or how little time you're willing to spend. And then if things escalate and they're not able to talk through, conversations, or they're mad at you, it's fine for you to say, if you can talk calmly, I really want to hear you and I want to hear you're upset. That's important. But if they get abusive, then you say, perhaps we need to table this discussion, come back again when we're both able to be in a calm place.
Yeah.
And that's a way of you protecting yourself. And you can hang up the phone, you can get up and leave.
Grace, what do you think?
I think that's really good. The other question, I think that, because I've thought about that, is just the only issue that I guess that I'm trying to do is I don't want this. I want to know, how does this affect me? I guess, my concern is I know that I can forgive someone because I've forgiven like the people that have hurt me in my life. But how, like, if we cannot reconcile, how does that hurt us? Like, how does that hurt us in the long run?
Well,
to witness to others.
Well, the bottom line is this, is that it can turn into unresolved pain, i.e. trauma that we carry around in our life. Yeah. But also in our life, we're going to experience grief, loss of important people. And some of the toughest grief processes are living griefs, meaning that we have to grieve a person that's still alive because they will never be the person that can be a part of our lives. For many people, for all of us, there is our family of origin, the family that we're born into. And for some fortunate people, that then becomes the family of their choice. And that's great. Yeah. But for many, many other people, and we see this throughout the biblical narrative in the Old Testament over and over, Jesus even kind of alludes to it, that who are my father and mother, who are my brothers and sisters, those who do the will of God. He's talking about then we have a new family of choice. And I think it's important that we all, if the family of origin, there's people there that are unhealthy, damaging, hurtful, unwilling to reconcile, then we have to grieve them so that then we can move and start discovering a new family, people in our lives that we can do life with.
And it doesn't mean you write them off necessarily, but you can only have relationship to the degree that another person
is safe.
Safe and will meet you there and is willing to own their part.
Should we send her a copy of Doing Life with Your Adult Children by Dr. Jim Burns?
Yeah, I think the Emotional Freedom Workbook would be a little bit better fit.
That's fine.
Yeah, let's do that.
Very good. And we'll also send you a tip sheet that we have available for anyone who calls into New Life Live. It's called 10 Tips for Healing Broken Families. You can call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to get that. But Grace, we're going to send you the book. Hang on.
I was stuck I was so stuck. 27 years married. My husband addicted to pornography for the majority of our marriage. I was very isolated and didn't really know which way to turn.
If you've been affected by betrayal, an emotional or physical affair, or pornography, Restore Intensive will equip you with support and tools to help you through.
When two people want to do their part, we can be restored. But if they don't, we can still be restored. We are not stuck because someone else made a decision. That God lets us weigh in on how we want to walk out our lives. Our wellness does not hinge on another person's decision.
The Restore Intensive is coming to Washington, D.C. November 7th to the 9th. Register online at newlife.com or call 1-800-NEW-LIFE and use the discount code NLL to save $50.
You guys helped me figure out what was going on.
1-800-NEW-LIFE and the discount code NLL.
I was sort of vaguely familiar that the 12 steps had some origination in the Bible. I found Life Recovery, and one of the things I liked so much was that it had such a broad appeal. It wasn't limited to just alcohol or drugs, that it was addressing a wide range of problems.
At New Life, we believe everyone can benefit from a life recovery experience. There are life recovery groups all over the country. They take place online, in conference calls, and in person. And if there isn't one in your area, we can help you start one. We have startup materials, leaders' guides, CDs, Bibles, and more, all with discounts available for groups. Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE and ask for Terry Ward. The 12 Steps have long been a great help to people in recovery because much of the 12 Steps' power comes from the fact that they capture principles clearly revealed in the Bible.
The 12 Steps is really a pattern for all of us as Christians.
Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
Men, if you are ready to step off of that cycle of shame called porn addiction, join New Life Ministries this weekend in Dallas for our next Everymans Battle Intensive. It starts Friday, goes through Sunday. Yeah, it's intense. It's not just a little 2-hour pat on the back. Okay, you're done. Go home. Good luck with that. No, this thing is intense. You'll discover the freedom, the clarity, and the restoration that are possible no matter where you're starting from. Get more information or register by calling 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Here is B calling in from Bakersfield and listening on Sirius XM channel 131. Hi, B. Thanks for calling in to New Life Live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, let's see. I'm in recovery, 35 years, drugs, alcohol, and eating. And I am having trouble with feeling adequate in my life still. And I've dealt with a lot of stuff. I've gone through 12 steps. I've even been approached to take on and be the leader of Celebrate Recovery. But I don't think I do as well as it looks like I'm doing on the outside.
Okay.
My thoughts don't always match up with me. You know what I'm saying?
So describe these feelings of inadequacy.
Okay. Well, I'll be in a group of women most of the time, and they have it so together, and they can talk about things so well and come up with their emotions and plant them onto something that they're talking about, and I'm like on tilt because why do I do that? You know, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
Well, I think, B, I think this is not an uncommon problem. And congratulations, first of all, 35 years in recovery is just amazing and wonderful, and that you're still involved is a really good thing. The years of using prior to, using, as you know, works to quiet these kinds of feelings, feelings that we have from a young age. And so they don't get dealt with. And I think it's easy to often, it's often been said that we often compare our insides to other people's outsides. Mm-hmm. And there are lots of people that have, different talents, and some people can talk a good talk. It doesn't necessarily always mean that the inside and the outside match. And I think that awareness in you, that your insides and your outsides don't match as well as you would like, it leaves you feeling probably incongruent, right? But the comparison, and this is what we women do, we compare to other women, and then we feel bad about ourselves, and we use it to point out all the things wrong with us. Instead of, okay, I'd like to be a better communicator. I'd like to be better at sharing my feelings. Maybe that's something I should actually share in the group. Yeah. That I struggle with putting my feelings to my words. Maybe I need to be more, kind of confess that in the group and obtain support for that.
Chris?
Yeah, and B, there is an ailment that you've been dealing with your whole life that has driven alcohol, drugs, and food, and it's the curse of not enoughism. And so underneath that is this
that a Chris Williamsism?
Yeah,
that's a Chris Williamsism.
I love that.
Yes.
Not enoughism.
Yes, not enoughism. And it's this shame that there is something deficient with you that you have to then perform in some way above where you're currently at to be okay and to be accepted by other people. And that most likely goes back into your childhood, where you as a human being had parts of yourself that were unacceptable to the people around you and didn't love you in those places. And so we adopt this belief that we are not enough. And so, as you were saying, Jill, that becomes the lens in which we interpret the world. So then we look at the eloquence of other people.
See, that proves I'm not enough.
And so it
Chris,
becomes
you talk so much better than I do.
Absolutely, right? And you dress better than I do.
Yes, I do.
So we are looking for all of these things to prove our internal bias system that we're not good enough. And so, B, I want to challenge and encourage you to maybe get into some work around this feeling and the history of this belief that you're not enough. Because the truth of the matter is you're acceptable right now, and as Jill said, people want to be with you to be with you. You can't have 35 years of recovery and not have tremendous wisdom to share.
Yeah.
And it may not sound like other people, but I'll tell you what, I've sat in plenty of meetings where the person who said the most simplest thing said the most impactful thing.
The most profound thing. And B, people are going to, like you said, love you and glean from you by you being B. Right? And this is the refining process. It's why, you're in recovery. You're not recovered because growth is a lifelong journey. And so, in the beginning it was just get off the drugs and alcohol and just survive a day, right? An hour. And now it's like, how do I deal with these other issues in my life and refine them and be okay being good enough even though I'm not everything.
Yes.
What do you think, B?
Well, I like it. I like what you just said. And I've been going in that direction in my inner self and going through more acceptance.
Yes.
Than my being. And people are eager to hear some things, and they like to talk to me, and in such I've become a really good listener, and I've learned through other people, like you were saying, how they're no really different than I am, because they have things too.
Yeah. Well, the truth is we all have it. Not enoughism was the original sin. That's how Satan tempted Eve. hey, you don't have enough here. It's not enough. You need more. It's not okay to be you. And then, of course, Adam comes along and says, yeah, me too. And so that's just sort of like the underlying thing that we're trying to fill.
Right. And our not enoughism actually leaves room for a savior.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Because if we were 100% enough, why would we need him?
No, yeah. The cross is irrelevant.
Yeah. Should we send B the Emotional Freedom Workbook as well?
I think so, yeah. I think it'd be a great resource for her.
All right, B, stay on the line. Thank you so much for calling in today here at New Life Live. We are so grateful for your one-time gifts to New Life Ministries, or maybe you give every now and then. Thank you as well. Would you consider joining Club New Life by committing to make a monthly donation? You'll help bring new life to people who desperately need it. One of the ways we say thank you to our Club New Life members is with a quarterly Zoom call where we all get together with New Life leadership. The next one is coming up on August 6th at 7 p.m. Central Time. In addition to hearing from New Life President Becky Brown, Stacy Sadler-Smith will be joining us to speak on beauty through brokenness, how God redeems pain into purpose. There's still time for you to become a monthly Club New Life supporter and join us on this Zoom. You can visit newlife.com/CNL for all the details. And if you're already a Club New Life member, don't forget to register. In fact, I can't remember if I registered yet. Can somebody check if I registered? If not, register me, or I'll do it after the program here. 1-800-229-3000 is our number. Let's talk to Jen in Fullerton, listening on KKLA. Hi there, Jen. Welcome to New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. Yes, my name is Jen. I'm 43. I'm kind of in this transition point. I had a business that I, developed probably a few years back during pandemic. Lost the business after pandemic, and kind of now trying to decide, really kind of seeking God's call on my life. And so my question for you is, how do I find God's calling for my life purpose? And yeah, that's pretty much it.
What did you do before you started this business?
I was a tutor.
Okay.
So I tutored K through 12.
And do you not want to go back to that?
Yeah, I really like it. But I feel like there's something greater God has, maybe more in ministry, but I'm not sure what. So I'm kind of asking these questions.
Yeah, and we would love to talk about this with you. We're going to take a break right now. We'll come back and continue our conversation with Jen and anybody else who calls in to New Life. We've got a lot of calls on the board, but we're still waiting for you. 1-800-229-3000 is the number. We're going to be here for another hour after this hour is complete, and we want to keep the conversation going. Dr. Jill Hubbard and Chris Williams are here to talk to you. And so grab an open line. We'll be back here on New Life Live.
Do you need help for life's hard situations?
My husband recently said he wanted a divorce.
I'm confused on what I should do.
I have an eating disorder.
New Life Live answers your questions on relationships, grief, addiction, trauma, anxiety, and much more, all from a biblical perspective with our panel of professional counselors and psychologists.
I learn a lot from your program.
You help so many people.
I appreciate your ministry.
Whether you listen or watch, there are so many ways to connect with us to ask our panel of counselors a question. Call us Monday through Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at 1-800-229-3000 to ask your question on New Life Live. Or go to newlife.com/radio for other ways to get your question answered.
I'm trying to find help.
I just want to know how to set boundaries.
If it's a sin, what am I supposed to do?
Need a therapist or a coach, a resource, or an intensive? Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. 1-800-NEW-LIFE. For over 35 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addiction, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
I found a counselor through New Life Ministries, and it's just been outstanding.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in a biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first steps toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door for a better tomorrow.
To get someone that's competent, that's good at what they do, it's been like day and night compared to what I've had before.
Call 1-800-639-5433. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
And back to Fullerton with Jen, who listens to us on KKLA. Hi there, Jen. You still with us?
Yes,
awesome.
I'm here.
Thanks for holding. So, Chris?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, my fellow Fullertonian. So I love living there. I love Fullerton. Huge fan of it. And it really is. So, when we're addressing God's will in our life, I think it starts with the basics. I'm going to use a quote that is oftentimes attributed to St. Augustine. And it says this: love God, then do what you want, but don't get it out of order. And what I really believe is that God's will is that we become a certain type of person more than we do a certain thing. And so following God's will is that I am becoming a new person in Christ that increasingly carries the attributes of Christ in all areas of my life. Now, that isn't apart from the fact that I could be doing other things. But when we follow God's will as this key to unlocking a vocation, there becomes some dangerous points in it. One, oftentimes we're like, if we're going out on our own and starting our own business, which you've already done, Jen, which congratulations, that is an incredibly vulnerable, risky thing to do. And we're looking for guarantees. Well, if it's God's will, it can't. If it's God's will, it can't fail. I'm like,
yeah, it can.
Yeah, it can, and oftentimes does. Or that if I'm feeling a sense of emptiness in my life, or I'm feeling a sense of lostness or ambiguity, that this is going to provide me the direction and the purpose to fulfill me.
Because often, and you mentioned you're in transition, often it's like, okay, what's next, God, in life? And we're looking for something new to organize around. You lost a business.
Yeah.
So now what? Okay, well, Jen, you're 43. You've been training your whole life. You've been developing skills and talents, and you have affinities towards different things. You mentioned tutoring. So, again, a lot of times it's not, God doesn't care what we do, but are we using the talents He has given us, right? Are we following Him?
Yeah.
And so it's like
that's a really good point.
there's lots of jobs that may not sound that exciting, but they utilize our skills and talents and the things that God has trained us in. And it's always good to go with our strengths. I don't think we need to spend time trying to master our weaknesses necessarily when it comes to certain skills. It's okay to let some go and say, no, I'm strong in these areas. Lord, how can I be used?
And I even have maybe a little bit.
I asked that question. I asked the Lord, and now I'm kind of going into like a nurse. I applied for a nurse practitioner program because I thought, how do I still have the people skills, utilize my people skills, which I'm really good at? So I'm trying to bridge over some of my soft skills with maybe a new field. And it feels kind of scary a little bit because I'm not sure if I'm going to get in or not, but I'm hoping I get into the program. But I'm kind of switching fields here, but I'm still kind of like, Lord, this is kind of unknown. I'm not sure if this door is going to open, but I pray it does because I feel like this would be a great calling on my life.
Oh, I would then say, Jen, I just want to encourage you and say yes. Pursue it.
Okay.
If for whatever reason, God, this isn't for you, for whatever reason, that will become clear when it becomes clear.
And it's okay if
Yeah.
if the door gets shut. I mean, you have to take a risk.
Yeah.
You can't just sit at home, do nothing, and expect, God
Yeah.
to create wonderful things in your life.
Well, in this area, God's will is clear only in the rear view, not in the windshield.
Yeah.
Very true.
Wow, I love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. So take a risk and see what he does with it. And see how he maybe fine-tunes it.
Yeah.
Chris and I both started out in school, right, for psychology, and here we are on the radio. I know I never planned to be on the radio.
No, it wasn't on my radar screen.
At all. And yet, doors opened.
Well,
and
and Jill, you started a business. You didn't go to business school.
No, I did not.
Right? I didn't go to business school. And so just a couple more things on that. So, Jen, as you pursue these things, I oftentimes see this over and over and over again. God meets us at the edge of the risk in our faith. And one of the definitions of faith that I have, it's not encompassing, but it's a part of it, is faith is a meaningful risk. And we can't avoid the risk. In fact, I see so much of our Christian theology trying to eliminate risk, and I'm like, you can call that a lot of things, but that ain't faith.
Right.
Faith,
but you can even call that God's calling. If I
Yes,
knew his
yes.
calling,
yes,
then I would know to march forward.
Then and I don't have to risk. I'm like, nope, faith is a risk. And God continually meets us there over and over and over, whether it be a continuation of the path or whether it be a course correction. God is with us regardless.
Wow, I really like that. I'm going to definitely, those are gems of wisdom. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time and just being able to answer my question.
Well, thank you for calling in today,
Yeah.
Jen. Don't hang up. We want to send you something just for calling in today. Maybe how you think determines the course of your life. That's a devotional that we have in the
Yeah,
New
I think
Life
it'd be
Talk
great.
Center.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So stay on hold and we'll send you that. You guys were talking about how you guys got started. At what point in your life did you say, I mean, lots of people at age 7, for example, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor, a fireman, a policeman, or whatever. And was it like when you were 7 years old, I want to be a licensed marriage and family therapist? And Jill, did you say, I want to be a clinical psychologist?
Well, actually, for me, it was in junior high when I had to write a careers report, and I was either going to be an artist or a psychologist. And I reasoned at that time that I thought psychologists might make more money because I thought they made $10,000 a year. And so I
That
thought
sounds
I might.
about right.
I did pursue both in college, but psychology won out. So
Yes.
I did know kind of at a young age that that was a direction.
Honestly, it was later in my 20s.
Okay.
It was nowhere on my radar screen whatsoever. But I was encountering, issues of my own childhood trauma, issues of my addiction, going through job transitions. I was moving out of the work in ministry. And I was just in this time where I was actually I was in a great paying job, but I couldn't stand it. And I was sitting with my therapist, and he was just phenomenal. And I thought, he has the coolest job on planet Earth. And that was that beginning point that I started an exploration. And after the exploration, my wife was really encouraging and affirming in this. But I didn't start my grad school until I was 29 years old, and that for that particular for this field. But it was just one of those things. As I tried different things, this was the thing that fit. And when it fit, oh my goodness, it was like, okay, here's where we go. But this has also come with so many different challenges and growth areas along the way. And I talk about it often that one of the most challenging things I ever did in my life, and still to this day, was start a business. And but what it taught me, and what I want to tell all other people that are challenged in this area, is it encouraged me the same thing I had to do in my recovery. I had to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I don't have an MBA. I can't do it on my own. And I can't tell you how many friends that are good at running business or good at these different skills that I'm not, to be honest, helped me along the way, helped develop. And it has been a wild ride, and it has been a phenomenal ride. And along the way, I end up on the radio with you guys.
Yeah. Well, and even when you have an idea of what you want, right? Like, obviously, I was very idealistic when I was young,
Uh-huh.
right? It's never a straight path, right?
No, not at all.
Right. There's a lot of learning that
Yeah.
goes into it,
The
right?
coolest job in the world, and it pays $10,000 a year. Who wouldn't want that? That is amazing.
Gosh, I'm rich.
Hey, don't forget the newlife.com store has dozens of items on sale right now for just $1, including Henry Cloud's book Trust and Living Strong, Finishing Well. Once they're gone, they are gone. So make sure you take advantage of that today. And if you're on hold right now, stay on hold. We're going to be here in just a little bit to take your questions.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433 or online at newlife.com. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.